Well, hello, and welcome back. How's everyone doing? I want to start this video off with a huge apology for my long break off YouTube. It's been about 2 years since I last posted a video, but it's insane because when I left, I had just over 100 subscribers, and now I'm at over 700? How does that happen? Can someone please explain this to me? Someone in the comments? Someone bust through this door like the Kool-Aid Man? Rappel through the window like Batman? Just someone tell me, because I'm at a complete loss. But I'm so overwhelmed and so grateful to each and every one of you. All the people who have been here from the start, all of the newcomers, everyone, thank you so much. But now I'm ready to get back to what I love doing. And what I love doing is making beats. So let's start off with a little beat on the 303. Let's hit you with the beat preview. Let's go! I started off this beat with the melodic sample. After going through a couple of records, I found the right vibe. My next step was using my modified turntable to find the speed and pitch that I wanted. Once I had that, I recorded it into my 303 and moved on to finding some drums. When choosing the break, I knew I wanted something subtle yet intricate. Once I'd found it and matched the speed to the speed of my main sample, I recorded it into my 303 as well. Next, I added some tambourines for a little extra groove and percussion. And lastly, I added a bassy kick and some effects hits. Now that we have all our ingredients, let's get chopping.
The first time I looked at you, I knew
When chopping up the sample, I wanted to start with the main vocal harmonies. Since there was already a lot of percussion in the record, I chopped at the kicks and snares to keep that original groove. Resampling every chop onto its own pad, I was able to keep the full sample on one pad, marking new chops easily as I go.
the first time.
With my main samples chopped, I started to look for other pieces that I could use later on to keep the beat interesting.
The first time I looked at you.
Now, obviously I was adjusting the start and end points of all these samples, but let's be honest, that's boring to watch.
Had to build my world around you, around you. Around you. The first.
Alright, that's enough to get started. Next, let's work on the drums. So for the drums, I knew that I didn't want anything too crazy, seeing as how much was already going on in the sample. So I just grabbed a couple dirty hi-hats, snares, and those ghost snare rolls. Unfortunately this time, I left the kicks behind. Okay. We got what we needed. Let's move on to making our main loop. I want to keep this beat short and simple, around 1.5 minutes, no B sections or anything too fancy, just a dripped out track. So we need to make a main loop, something that can easily carry the beat and won't feel too monotonous. Because of the limited pads, we need to be strategic. I like to use a small amount of internal memory on banks A and B as sort of a reservoir to resample small ideas until I can free up pads on banks C and D. This is the destructive part of resampling, where we need a bit of a plan. But, as we'll find out, it can often bring new, unexpected, exciting ideas. As the loop was developing, it started to feel too simple and boring. Luckily, we kept the entire sample on one pad just in case this happened. So now we can go back and find new chops to keep the loop fresh and engaging. This is a great way of finding exciting new ideas. Alright, we carved out some dope new chops, and after making a few small sequences, we're ready to resample everything to one pad to make our main loop. Okay, time out. Quick pause. I messed up here a little bit. Let me explain. Generally, as soon as I get the full sample in my SP, I like to hit it with a couple of effects to really beef up the low end. Because I don't usually add actual bass elements into these tracks, just because of the nature of the SPs, it's just not the way I do it. So generally, I'll hit my sample with the EQ, an isolator, the C canceller, and I'll combine everything together to make one nice bassy sample. Now I didn't do that, and I've already started to chop this thing up, and I've started to sequence everything. So I'm gonna have to do it with each individual sequence. Not the end of the world, but it does take a little more time. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so let's run through this super quick. Throw in the isolator and turn the highs and mids all the way down while cranking the lows, and then resample it to a new pad. Next, take that new sample and apply the C canceller. Blast the lows and destroy the highs. Then fish around with the balance knob until you find the most bass. Then, resample again. Now, take that pad and apply the EQ. Get the highs and mids out of there and adjust the lows to your taste. Once again, resample. And finally, add a bit of the isolator to the original sample, turn down the lows and adjust the mids and highs as you see fit. Then, resample the two on top of each other, and voila! You've got your nice, bassy sample. Let's get back to it. As I said before, these drums are really more for texture than anything. Our main sample already had a solid beat behind it. But after getting an idea of the rhythm that we wanted and adjusting the volumes a bit, I added the isolator to them. I just scooped out some of the lower frequencies and boosted the higher ones. Now with that done, it's time to resample. Okay, perfect. Now for another version, this time with the tambourine on top as well. Alright, the kick, the kick, the kick. Nothing much else to really say. We all love it, so let's lay it down. So we made sure to pick a kick with a ton of bottom end, and we kept it pretty loud in the mix. This way, when you slap on the compression, we'll get that ducking sidechain effect, which makes everything sit so well in the pocket. We're nearly done at this point. We'll just create a few variations on the main loop, sequence everything into a full track, and apply our mastering. Let's go.
I love it.
So with our main loop done, we can introduce some variations to help keep the beat moving. This is where those extra chops that we made earlier come into play. In order to have this work, we have to resample the main loop onto a second pad. With 2 copies, we can add in these variations creatively without wrecking our 8-bar loop. Let's do an example. By marking the start point of one loop at the beginning of its 5th bar, we were able to place a variation at the end of the 4th bar of the first loop. Let's do this once more. This is a pretty basic example, but from here you can really take it as far as you want. It's a super powerful way to take a single loop and make a full beat out of it. So now, after doing several different variation loops, we just had to figure out the order that we wanted them to play in and resample that onto a single pad. Then, the moment we were all waiting for, we squashed it with that always buttery vinyl sync compression. After dropping the beat into Ableton, we ran it through the J37 tape emulator, an EQ, multiband OTT compression, a glue compressor, and limiter. There we have it. The beat is complete. Alright, that's all I have for today. It feels great to be back, and I can't wait to see y'all again. Cheers!
I love it.